Meredith Corson here. Welcome to day 3 of the preparations for the 2015 International Revere Beach Sand Sculpting Festival. A lot has happened since we were here last. We're going to take a look at that right now. The most obvious thing that's happened since the last time since we were here last night finishing up, is the sand, the delivery of the sand. It has gone very smoothly. Worked like clockwork. We had lots of sand here first thing this morning waiting for us. And what they do is they divide it into 2 areas. We have the north area of the beach, which is where the duo divisions are going to be. So we had one person, myself, who was at the north end organizing with the front end loader each dump that was dumped into each one of the plots, because the sculptors are very technical about how much sand they have. They plan it out, and so everyone has to get exactly the right amount of sand. And then the other area is to the south of me on the other side of the tent here, and that is where all the solos will be. So when you come out, you're going to see the distinct difference between the duos at the north end and the solos at the south end. The south end is the solos do not get as much sand as the duos, so we had a different person orchestrating the drop-offs of the sand down at that end. So there's no confusion between the solos and the duos. What we're going to do now is we're going to head over to the centerpiece area where we've started operations with that. Okay, I am standing in the centerpiece area right now, and what you see here is just the very beginning of a sculpture that will be about 300 tons of sand. This is the front part. There's a lot of logistics that go into building the centerpiece. Because the tractors can only dump the sand from one direction, they cannot come around from the west side, so they come down the beach and come up. We have to organize it and orchestrate it so the front part of the sculpture is done first. So what you see right here is a long, narrow form that will be filled with sand and water. It'll be compacted, and that's going to be for the ribbon across the front of the sculpture that will have all the sponsors' logos on it. So that's really important. We get that done first, and then the sculptors can actually be starting on that part of it tomorrow morning. They'll be sculpting logos on that while we continue to do the huge pound up behind it. Now the huge pound up behind it, you'll see some of that taking place today. And that's the main sculpture. It is the theme for the centerpiece is the spirit of Massachusetts. You're going to see a lot of iconic Massachusetts places of recognition. You'll notice you'll be familiar with everything that's in the centerpiece. And that's going to happen this afternoon. We're going to go to Dan Belcher right now. He's one of our professional master sculptors that will be in the competition, and he's going to be doing the interviewing of the individual sculptures this year. So we're going to take off to Dan right now with his first interview.
Thank you, Meredith. And my name is Dan Belcher, and I am one of the competitors this year at the 2015 Revere Beach International Sand Sculpting Competition. And this year's a little bit different. We have more sculptors this year than ever before. We have 10 solos and 5 teams of 2, so 5 duos. 2 separate competitions going on. So a lot of people coming in from all over the world to do this wonderful competition. And I am honored this year that I get to, as a sculptor, take you through and interview some of the competitors, kind of give you a little bit of more of an insight of who we are and what we do and what we know about each other. And I guess I better start off interviewing myself, so if that's okay. Well, Dan, what are you going to carve this year? You know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got a vague idea, but I'm going to see how it comes together. I got a few things to tweak, but I don't want to give too much away. Not that anybody really cares, but you know, for me, it's a little bit of a challenge every year to come up with something new. And I guess I would ask myself, like everybody wants to know, what do we do? Do we use just sand and water? Yeah, we use just sand and water. Do we use the local sand? No, unfortunately not. This stuff's pretty gritty. That you can see here, Revere Beach sand. It's nice to walk on, but it's not the best stuff for carving. They bring in this nice fine sand just a short ways from here, and as you can see, the stuff compacts really, really well, even without a lot of moisture, but we do add water, so it's all just sand and water in the end. People ask a lot, what do we do if it rains? And I will say, well, you know, you just kind of deal with it. For the most part, sand will just absorb the rain and you'll be fine, but when heavy thunderstorms come in, we do try to drape some plastic over it or put a protective spray on it before the rain hits. some of the other questions. What do we always get asked? Do you make a living out of this? Well, actually, most of us do. Most of us work at sand sculpture year round. Some people work in other mediums. Some people do ice, snow, but a lot of us keep pretty busy doing projects all over the world, just creating sand sculptures for various events just like this. Some larger, some smaller. But I'll have to say what is exciting about this year is the quality, not only the quantity, but the quality of carvers that are coming in from all over the world. You're going to just see some phenomenal pieces of artwork and some really different ways of looking at sand sculpture. As a competitor, I'm excited, and the thing that a lot of people ask too is, are we, as competitors, are we fiercely competitive with each other? Well, we always want to do the best that we can do, but the cool thing is it's like a family. I hate people say, oh, really? But you get to know all these people over the years, and you travel, you work together, you eat together, you have fun together, you know their families. So the fun thing is, as everybody comes in, we just really start having a good time. And I think you're going to see that when you come down to the beach. Well, that's enough out of me. And now I'm going to take you to two of the people who are very key in putting this whole event together. A wonderful couple, Dan Doubleday and Meredith Corson, now Corson Doubleday. They just got married this year. They help make the whole sand sculpture aspect of this event happen. So let's go talk to them. So here we are with Meredith. I'm going to say Corson Doubleday. Where are we at now?
It's now Corson Doubleday.
Because you have some news for us. There's something has changed.
Well, yeah, Dan and I got married this year.
But you guys have been together for how long?
We've been together for about 15 years. But I had children in the house when I met him, so we kind of made this deal that he wasn't going to move in until the kids moved out, and it worked great. And so when the last child went to college in August, Dan moved in September, and that was about 3.5 years ago.
And this Dan you speak of, he is...
Not you.
Well, yeah. However...
And Dan Doubleday, who is one of the organizers, the centerpiece designer, and one of the competitors.
Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now Meredith is Miss Amazing. And well, we're going to show you kind of what she does right here. She points and she tells people, now watch this. This is just amazing. Here comes the sand. Now Meredith, fully professional, not only showing them where to put the sand, but making sure that everybody has the same amount of sand. Ta-da.
It's very important, by the way.
It is. Well, it's just one. It is one of the many things that you do. So amongst the thousands of things you have to do, you have schedules, spreadsheets, and other things. But sometimes you just basically have to write on your arm.
Yeah, this is my spreadsheet on the run. You know, I can lose a piece of paper, I can't lose my arm.
No, because everybody has to have the same amount of sand. So
yeah, it's very important. They have their pieces planned out. Usually they know exactly how much sand they need for whatever they're going to be sculpting. So it makes a big difference if somebody gets one less bucket than everybody else.
Well, you don't want somebody just, raising a fuss and getting in a huff. But not that anybody really does that, right?
Yeah. No, never do that.
Very low maintenance people, aren't we?
Yeah.
So now you are the woman behind the scenes who makes everything happen from the sculptural aspect of this. You organize people's travel in a certain degree. You know when they're coming in. You make sure that we have enough sand. You and Dan together put together the centerpiece. Basically, you're the sculptural liaison. But you have a stack of papers. How thick?
Well, I have a notebook in the car. I can't bring my computer out on the beach, so I have a stack of papers about 4 or 5 inches thick.
And when you guys started helping organizing this, there were 8 sculptors. Now we're up to how many?
Yeah, it's come a long way. I mean, there were 8 sculptors. It was easy to handle. I could handle it by myself, the numbers. There are 20 sculptors now. So every year it gets a little bit more difficult. We try and add something new. This year, the duos division. Hopefully they can take care of each other. Duos, teammates work together. So maybe that'll ease me up a little bit on the duos end. We'll see.
I think so. And people it's all professionals and everybody knows what they're doing. But by the same token, a lot of people are new to this. And the other thing is there are so many international people. So you've got some pretty crazy travel schedules.
Well, this year it is officially the 2015 International Sand Sculpting Festival. We have had international sculptors before, but it is now officially. And we have 8 countries represented this year. So we do have to do all I track their travel, making sure everybody gets here on the right time. Sometimes there are mistakes, so I'll dot your I's and cross your T's, and it is what it is.
But you love it. I mean, you guys are here. You're here every year.
I do. It's so exciting to me. I mean, we literally start this out 9 to 10 months prior with the scheduling of the sculptors, sending out the invitations, because you're a professional sculptor, and these people, they book their work a year out sometimes. So we have to coordinate with their schedules. The event this year is a week later. So we did have some competitors that had conflicts in their schedule, and they did not make it this year because they already had jobs that they were committed to.
Right. Yeah, it's difficult. I know I had that when I heard. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm glad I found out when I found out, because otherwise wouldn't have been able to make it. But,
Yeah.
but with so many new sculptors and so many additional sculptors and so much more area being covered, what are some of the challenges that you found with that?
Well, challenges are getting the things to the plots, first of all. We go more than 800 feet in the, just the sand sculpting area. So Ben, the tech crew, has help. We have people that, wheel the forms all the way down to the end. Right. It's more people, it's more mouths to feed, it's more travel, it's a little bit of everything.
So when you come out to something like this, when you see all the phenomenal sculptures that you're going to see, and all the people working, remember that there are a lot of people that come in the beginning, work very, very hard to get all this done, to get all this set up. So just another aspect that we hope people appreciate and enjoy, right?
Yeah, and the work is going to be absolutely amazing. We're so proud to have all these incredible sculptors here, and we think, and if you ask the sculptors, you're going to hear a lot this week, this is the most incredible lineup of sculptors in one place that they have seen.
It's going to be amazing. I will be amazed. Everyone will be amazed. So we know it's just going to be a premier event, even above and beyond what it's been before. So thank you, Meredith.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, so that's the end of day 3. We've wrapped it up here, and we will be back here on the beach tomorrow morning for day 4. Still more preparations and the continuation of the centerpiece. We'll see you tomorrow.
Attend the 2015 Revere Beach International Sand Sculpting Festival on Friday, July 24th through Sunday, July 26th. This year's event includes hot air balloon rides, live entertainment, gourmet food trucks, children's sand sculpting lessons, an interactive learning zone, exhibit booths, rides for the kids, and a spectacular fireworks extravaganza on Saturday night. So park for free at Suffolk Downs and take the T to Revere Beach or Wonderland. This event promises to be bigger and better than ever.